So, on this episode of A Pint and Chat with Warren Wasteland, we have with us Joe Weinstock of Minus Cube.
Yay!
Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.
So we've all kind of been working on our own stuff, but over the last few months, we've kind of been working as a collaborative project called SanctuaryNine.
And I can hardly breathe. Look at me, falling down before your eyes.
So we've all kind of had, I mean, and no doubt, you know, in the past we've all had experiences of collaborating with lots of different artists, and you know, there's every artist that you work with brings a different flavour. Out of all those collaborations that you've done in the past, what do you think pinpoints the benefits of collaborating?
I think I just love how it's kind of different worlds and influences that meet up. Everyone has a different take on how they like to do music, and it's sometimes, well, in my experience at least, it's good that it's not always the same. It's always not the same path that everyone has trod. You know, everyone likes different style of music and different different ways of creating it, and then when you sort of push that all together, you can get some really great results, I think. And plus, also, I've always found that collaborating it's pushed me to do like better or do more, you know, than just when you're sat by yourself, kind of making those decisions. And that's fine and everything, but also the decisions stop with you, you know. So with collaborating, it's nice to always get like feedback from other people and to like bounce off ideas, and also just combine styles, combine your strengths of things that, you know, can come together as one.
This all ends here. Oh, you thought you had us fooled, and you got so comfortable. Dragged us all into the darkness and just walked away. But you'll pay the price. You'll conquer and divide. Has made us unite.
I totally agree. And I really, 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 really honored that we got to do 11 together recently with Minus Cube and Plike joining forces. That was
the return of Plike.
the return of Plike. I brought Plike back from the dead.
Beautiful piece of work, guys.
Joe, I know it's really important to you to keep emotion in music. I want to make people feel something. Like I really want to share how I'm feeling, and hopefully maybe somebody will be able to relate and find that a comfort. You know, how do you go about putting emotion into your songs?
I think it kind of comes naturally, I guess. I struggle to do it any other way. I don't know if you've had musical tasks where you've had to just like create some music for some project or something that doesn't necessarily mind you, I don't know, most music does, even if it's just fun to listen to, or then it does have some emotion in it still, because it's just, you know, you're sort of consciously trying to create something that has a happy sound or whatever. But because I grew up listening to like blues stuff basically all the time, that is kind of more rooted in what I tend to play. Even if it's heavier stuff, it still doesn't sound really, really heavy to me. It's more like blues based of the spectrum of music. So it sort of comes naturally, really, but also just that I would put emotion into playing something. I mean, I find it easier to do that way and not overthink it too much as well.
Do you find that it's kind of therapeutic to do that as well? Like you can express things that maybe you can't kind of unlock without having a creative way to express it.
Totally. Music is like therapy to me. It probably is for all of us as well, I think, in whatever way, whether it's a difficult time that you may be dealing with, or creating music just because you're in like a good mood and want to create music. You know, I think either way it kind of gets reflected out in what your output is from that feeling. But to have feeling in the music and also in the lyrics, and as a combined thing, you know, I think it can work. It works the best way when it's all from the heart, and that's either from one person or a collaboration or a band situation, and everyone has their part to play. You know, I think that's where all the most genuine stuff happens.
Joe, have you futzed around at all with any AI yet, or do you have any proof?
I've never used it in anything yet so far. Not like not knowingly anyway. But I can totally understand when it's it can be like helpful prompts for idea generation and that kind of thing, or you know, for lyrics. For example, you know, you can get ideas and prompts and ideas, or it can actually just come up with something great. With music, like the music creation part of it, I'm kind of slightly worried about how that's all going to go soon, because it's becoming more and more sophisticated very quickly. There's some really there's some interesting examples of AI generated stuff that's I don't know, it's sort of a bit worrying how good it is. But then also it's ultimately creating stuff referencing things that have been made by people, I guess. It's just sort of scouring through some library of music that these AI companies take from our creations. It sort of grows and learns based on things that humans have made. It makes me feel a little bit nervous for things like scoring and film soundtrack creation, because actually like AI vocals have started to become really quite good as well now. But when you take that out of the mix and it's actually just music, and I've seen a few things where people have, like, someone wanted to create like a Western theme, you know, and did it by AI, and it got created an original Western sounding, you know, classic kind of Western theme in about 30 seconds. And you can do that 10 times and have, you know, a soundtrack created but for free by a computer, which is worrying. And
very
for now, I think that, you know, the true creativity will always come from people, because you have original emotions or human emotions and human influences and experiences that all put into what you create, whereas a computer doesn't have that.
At some point, real artists will be sought after again, I think, when there's a lot of this AI stuff being used potentially. And then it's going to be...
agree with you, because I look at the resurgence of vinyl.
Yeah.
It was like everybody dropped vinyl. Oh, that's old. Nobody wants vinyl. Everybody wants CDs.
And then everybody fell in love with it again.
It's like, why did what? Yeah,
and cassettes as well. People seem to love cassettes. It's going to come full circle, and at some point, it's going to be. It's like the albums that were. It was like when auto-tune came out, and everybody was auto-tuned, and then albums were coming out with no auto-tune used on this record, as if it was like a. Like, a certificate of merit. This is authentic. This is none of this auto-tune nonsense. It's going to come round back to that. It's going to be real artists involved real humans involved in the making of this record.
There'll be a little sticker on the CD.
Yeah. Explicitly human. Joe, do you have a particular favorite VST or production software? Do you have any go-to things that you seem to go back to over and over again?
Well, a few, just because I have only like one of them. So like drum software or my guitar. The guitar stuff, actually, I used Guitar Rig for a long time. It was like very, very. I still do use it. And then I started using Neural DSP is the name of the company that makes them anyway. And they have a whole load of really great sounding guitar plugins. I don't have an amp anymore. So, well, I do, but I don't ever use it. From back in the day, recording with that thing turned up doesn't make for happy neighbours and
of course
streets beyond. So.
And the miking and the positioning and the grooming being treated and everything goes into it. Like, it's so nice to just do a line in and not, then you can do whatever you want to, make it sound however you want without all of that.
That was my main aim, was to sort of shrink down the whole, probably the same for everybody too. These days, it's so much easier. Shrink down the whole setup so that they don't have to be really, really noisy, and also then you just got a consistency in the sound that you make. I spent a long time initially finding sounds that were going to work for me, and I still never have found you're always searching for it, I think. But initially, at least, stuff that I found enjoyable to listen to for myself, at least. Spent a long time doing that, and then it's like, okay, well, I know that I like this particular sound or that particular sound, and then you have it available, which is kind of nice, especially compared to years gone by when we were absolutely miking up amplifiers, and that's great for one day, but then if you have to go back the next day and do something else, and you've moved the microphone 2 millimeters to the left. Car stuff, that stuff I love, and I use Spitfire Audio VSTs a lot as well, like for kind of orchestral stuff and other synth things as well. I mean, there's a lot actually. I love their labs tools because they're all free, but they're all very inspiring. you know,
Yeah.
as well. And I think, you know, in the past, I've sort of challenged myself to write music only with stuff that's free, you know, and what can you create? And honest to God, there's some, the quality of them all is great.
Yeah.
I love it. So those things I end up going to. I know the Foghorn,
Yeah.
the Foghorn VST that they created. In the stuff
That's
we've
very
done,
popular.
We've done music together. Emma's always been a fan of the Foghorn.
You introduced me to the Foghorn. It's so funny because over and over I've worked on a track.
And Em introduced me to the Foghorn.
Thank
You introduced me to the Foghorn.
I had to pay it forward. Because
It's brilliant. It's one of all the VST Foghorns that I've got in my first collection. It's the best.
Goodness, do you have many Foghorn VSTs?
I have a collection.
Oh, good. It's good to know. From Foghorns of the UK. There's definitely one time years ago I was recording, and we had this this riff of this song, which was in 5/4, and for whatever reason, the drum track was shifted like a couple of bars along, and when the one of the drums come in, is not where it is with the guitar line. But my God, did it sound good? And maybe it was just because it was new and I'd listened to it like 5 million times previously. But it suddenly, just because the drums happened to be shifted across, you know, something went wrong or whatever. And it was like, oh my God, this even sounds better than the one we wrote, you know.
Joe, I have to say, at some point, it's going to have to be done. We're going to have to do a Pick of Destiny Tenacious D inspired thing just for shits and giggles, man. Like, I would love to do that. Again, we'd have to find a fucking vocalist. That would be, I mean, Jules, of course.
Not me. No.
I knew she was gonna say that.
I don't think I could do it justice somehow. No.
The film that you scored, The Haunting of Valentina. Like, even though that is so drastically different from Minus Cube and all the other projects I've heard you in, I'm like, I can hear Joe in there. Like, I can hear your Joe stamp on that.
Thank you. I don't know that I'm doing it, but it's just whatever comes out. I think, with the film thing as well. I love doing that, and that I certainly feel kind of quite at home doing it. Although that was the first time I'd ever done that for a film, but actually it's a similar thing with remix, but with a film score it's like total pure creation to me, because you have an existing piece of work, which is a film in this case, and no music to it. There is like complete blank canvas. And you know, like when you're like about to start writing a novel and you just got the blinking cursor or the blank page, and you're like, what do I do? You can do anything, but I think that from my experience of doing them, at least my advice through learning both ways is to not overthink anything you do. And I think, am I just winging it? Am I just literally not thinking enough about what I'm doing? But then also there's a part of me, at least, when I start to overthink stuff, I tend to not like what I'm doing. So.
It's called imposter syndrome, and we're all very familiar with it.
Yeah. So I think that in the same with the remix and the same with like a scoring project, just have whatever comes in your head first of all, go with it and elaborate on it, or go with it and it's actually could be the final thing straight away. You can do anything, and that's it's kind of freeing in a way, but also you totally question every decision you make. So
I have a serious fondness for the SanctuaryNine tracks that the three of us have done together, and particularly the Gary Newman Haunted song and Depeche Mode Precious song that we did.
I pray you learn to trust, have faith in both you
I love listening to when you hear like live tracks and it's all there, all the production is there, but it's live. So sometimes it sounds heavier live than it does when you have it in a controlled environment.
See, that's something I was going to say. Every time, like just about every time that Joe shares a song with me, like, oh, here's a great song, I'm like, it's almost always a live recording. Like almost always. It's made me like look for live recordings of my favorite songs because I'm like, I don't usually I go to the music video or I go to the topic or whatever.
When you listen to a studio album recording for years and years and years, and then you hear how it's been performed live in that kind of one take situation that we were talking about before, you know,
Joe,
how it differs, you know, it's cool.
Did you? Yes. I'm sorry, I'm derailing again. This is all going to be edited out. But I had to share when I found it. I was like, oh my god, where Lars was doing the vocals and Hetfield was playing the drums. I was like, oh my god, I was like, I'm sure he's seen this before, but I was like,
he was quite a good singer, Lars, actually, for that.
Because he's like,
is this bored. Metallica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
No, literally, Lars is like, we're bored, okay, you guys? We've done this a million fucking times, so we're gonna change it up tonight. And
are you impressed that I got it was Lars?
Yeah.
I am so impressed. Yes.
Thank you.
I don't remember if it was Jules or we know it wasn't Joe, but I think it might have been me because I think
it was you.
Yes. Stripped and Precious are my two favorite Depeche songs, and now we did Stripped.
You did that.
Yeah, we did Stripped as Wire and Wasteland. Yeah, we did.
Which was
did we do that
awesome,
before we did Precious?
I love that cover.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, we enjoyed working on it.
It was really good.
It was fun, and again, that was me. That was me going like, Jules, please, this is one of my all-time favorites, and she just went in and just nailed it. Like, nailed it. So good.
I had fun working on that one. Yeah, it was good.
I really loved how that sounded when you decided to do that. You know, the first time I heard it, I was just used to hearing the original track, obviously, where that doesn't happen, and I was like, oh, all right, you know.
Okay, well, I'm glad. I'm glad that it worked out.
It was really nice. It really made it so much different, you know. And it's like, again, like with emotion, it really added like a different feel to the vocal.
Yes.
Because of that, and I loved that. I thought it was great.
You guys are the best. I can't believe I get to work on music with you two.
Same here.
Myself. Pinch myself.
You're both fantastic to work with. I have to say. I've a lot of and I've done a lot of collaborations, but you know, I enjoy working with both of you. I just do. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to work with both of you. So
same here. It's to enjoy.
Yeah.
It's an honor. It's an honor. Everything we've done, Jules, I'm so proud of. Everything we've worked on, Joe, I'm so proud of. Everything the three of us have done together.
Yeah.
Like the dream team, yeah. Joe is an incredible mixing engineer, like amazing. Especially when it comes to rock, he is so over the top good, and I think it's such a good combination where he's such an excellent mixing engineer, and then as the mastering engineer, when I come in, like everything just meshes. So you guys, I can't believe I get to. How often do you really get to work on music with people that are so close to you and such good friends?
The people I want to work with are the people I'm working with. I think.
Yes.
That's just. I'm just going to put that. I'm just going to say that.